Imagine being born and your future already being decided. Before you can walk. Before you can choose. Before you even understand fear. Some horses were born to pull carts. Some lived on farms. Some spent their lives carrying food, people, or supplies. But you were born for something else.
War.
Not because you were brave. Not because you wanted it. Because humans decided your body was useful. In medieval Europe, during the age of knights and castles, powerful horses were not accidents. They were planned.
Carefully bred.
Strong stallions were paired with large mares. Only the biggest. Only the toughest. Only the calmest. Because nobles weren't looking for companions. They were creating living weapons. And from birth, your life already looked different from your brothers and sisters. Maybe your smaller brother stayed on a farm. He would spend his days near open grass,
Pulling a plow.
walking slow, growing old. Maybe your sister was sold to a merchant. She would carry supplies between villages. Hard work, but predictable.
Food. Rest.
Routine. Maybe another horse became a child's riding horse. A simple life. No armor. No screaming. No blood.
But not you.
People looked at your size differently. Your shoulders. Your legs.
Your chest.
Your strength. They saw value. And value meant ownership. You were expensive. More expensive than most people. A powerful war horse could cost more than a peasant earned in years. You were not treated like an animal. You were treated like an investment. At first, life may still seem peaceful. Soft grass. Open fields. Sunlight. Your mother nearby. Other foals running beside you. You chase butterflies. You run because it feels good. You don't know someone is watching, measuring, judging, waiting to see what you will become. Because peace was temporary. Training started young. Very young. Before your body fully matured. Before your mind fully understood trust. Humans began teaching control. A rope around your head. Pressure on your mouth. Weight on your back. Commands. Correction. Repetition. Again. 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 Every natural instinct had to change. Because horses are prey animals. Fear keeps them alive. A loud noise means danger. A sudden movement means run.
Fast. Far.
Survive. But a war horse could not run away. It had to move toward fear. Toward shouting. Toward fire.
Toward death.
And that training became harder over time. You learned to obey instantly. No hesitation. No panic. No choice. Your trainers exposed you to chaos on purpose. Metal crashing together. Men yelling. Dogs barking. Drums beating. Torches burning. Weapons striking shields. At first, you resisted.
You pulled back.
You flinched. You tried to escape. But escape was corrected. Fear was corrected. Eventually, you stopped reacting. Not because you stopped being afraid. Because you learned fear didn't matter. And while your farm-born brother walked through quiet fields, you trained beside violence. While another horse rested in a wooden stable, you learned to stand near swords. While a merchant horse crossed peaceful roads, you learned to charge at human bodies. Their world was survival. Your world was preparation. By the time you became an adult, you were no longer simply a horse. You were a military asset, a status symbol, a machine made of muscle. Some war horses became destriers, the elite horses of medieval warfare. Large, powerful, heavy, built for battle. These horses were rare. Only nobles could afford them. Owning one meant power, wealth,
Authority.
Knights often cared deeply for their horses, because losing one could mean losing everything. But affection did not mean mercy. A knight could love his horse and still ride it into death. Then came armor, heavy protective metal called barding. It covered your neck, your chest,
Your sides.
sometimes even your face. It looked magnificent, almost legendary, like something heroic. But armor was heavy, very heavy. And you were not carrying armor alone. You also carried a grown man. Metal weapons, shield,
Saddle.
supplies. Sometimes over 100 kilograms added to your body. Now, imagine sprinting with that weight. Across mud, across rocks, across uneven ground, while avoiding holes, bodies,
Blood.
broken weapons. And unlike modern horses, you did not live in a safe stable. Today, horses often live calmer lives. Riding schools, farms, therapy centers,
Sports.
show jumping, gentle trails, veterinary care, pain treatment, retirement. Modern horses can grow old. Some die peacefully. Some spend years simply grazing. But medieval war horses had no retirement, no peaceful ending. Your best years were spent preparing for violence. And then, war arrived. The day training finally became real. You hear it before you see it. The sound. Thousands of footsteps. Metal striking metal. Voices shouting orders. Fear spreading through humans. The air smells wrong.
Sweat.
Smoke.
Mud. Blood.
Then movement. Lines of soldiers ahead. Spears rising. Flags shaking. Armor shining beneath gray skies. Your rider climbs onto your back. Heavy. Familiar. You feel tension in his legs. He is afraid too. But unlike him, you do not understand why this is happening. Trumpets sound. The line begins moving. Slow at first. Then faster. Then faster. The ground shakes beneath hundreds of horses. You run because the rider commands it. You run because stopping is not allowed. You run because years of training leave no other option. And suddenly, the battlefield opens. Screaming. Bodies crashing. Arrows falling. Men dying. You smell blood before you understand it. You see movement everywhere. Too much movement. Humans colliding. Weapons swinging. Chaos without pattern. And you are expected to go forward. Straight into danger. Straight toward sharpened spears. Straight toward people trying to kill you. Enemies understood something important. You did not always need to kill the knight. Kill the horse. The rider falls. The armor becomes heavy. The knight becomes trapped. Easy to finish. So horses became targets. Spears aimed low. Blades swung at legs. Arrows fired into large bodies. Because you were impossible to miss. You were big,
Fast.
visible, and vulnerable. One deep wound could change everything. A horse in pain becomes unpredictable. You panic. You bolt. You crash through soldiers. Friend or enemy no longer matters. Sometimes wounded horses trampled their own side. Sometimes they ran blindly into forests. Sometimes they collapsed instantly. And when a horse fell, the knight often fell with it. Imagine falling at full speed. Hundreds of kilograms crashing downward. Armor locking your movement. A terrified animal beneath you. Bodies around you. Weapons everywhere. A single stumble could kill both rider and horse. And horses did not understand war. They only understood fear. Imagine hearing screaming from every direction. Feeling pain. Smelling blood. Seeing fire. Being surrounded by humans who suddenly became predators. Your instincts say run, but training says stay. And those two forces fight inside you. Every second. Some horses survived battle. But survival was not victory. After combat ended, battlefields became silent. Not peaceful, just quiet. Broken weapons. Dead soldiers.
Smoke.
Mud mixed with blood. And injured horses wandering through the remains. Some searched for riders who would never stand again. Some limped with shattered legs. Some collapsed hours later. Some were abandoned. Treatment was expensive. Food was expensive. Healing took time. And in medieval life, usefulness mattered more than kindness. A badly injured horse was often killed. Not out of cruelty alone. Because replacing it was easier than saving it. And maybe that is the darkest truth. You were praised for loyalty. But loyalty was trained. You were called brave. But bravery was never your choice. You did not choose battle. You did not choose armor. You did not choose obedience. Humans chose for you. From birth. Your body decided your future. Your strength became your prison. And while your siblings grew old under quiet skies, you ran through war. While another horse carried grain to market, you carried men into death. While modern horses today live longer, safer lives, you existed in one of the most violent jobs an animal could have. A war horse looked powerful, legendary, majestic. But beneath the armor was something else. An animal taught to ignore fear. A body trained to obey. A life built for destruction. Next time you imagine a knight charging across a battlefield, look beneath the rider. Because the horse carried more than armor, more than weight, more than a human. It carried pain, confusion,
Fear.
and a destiny decided long before it was born.